What's wrong, Lucia? Do you still doubt? Are you torn? Dear Lucia, you seem to be distracted, but I have the solution. Allow me to remove the source of your hesitation.
Lucia, you stopped it.
Hero.
Lucia!
Now all the pieces have fallen into place. My plan has worked perfectly. You are a weak fool, Lucia. Worrying about the fate of insignificant humans will cost you dear.
I know many people are aware of the Game Boy Advance, PlayStation, and Saturn versions of Lunar, but it was originally on Sega CD. Lunar Silver Star Story is pretty good, but Lunar 2 Eternal Blue was designed to be the Final Fantasy killer, and it shows. Especially if you consider the time period, this blows everything before 7 away. Today I will be showing you Lunar 2 for Sega CD because a bunch of you missed out. Here I am at 40 years old, and I don't have time for games anymore. I still think about this game, I played it for nearly 24 years, and I did play a little past Borgen for this video. After him, the rest of the game is admittedly a breeze. If there's inconsistent footage here, it's because I forgot the Fusion emulator has its own capture program, and I switched for better frame rate, somewhere in between. I own the game, but why put wear and tear on your system? The graphics and music are eternally charming, and truly can't be replicated except maybe in the remakes. But in my opinion, the remakes are nerfed, and not really worth it. While Lunar 1 for Sega CD was a little clunky, they sure polished it up for Part 2. Probably my favorite thing about Lunar 2 is the formation freedom. Since your characters have range, they will actually approach the enemy and hit them, unlike a certain franchise which just showed your characters wiggling a sword in the air on the right side of the screen while the enemy magically dies. That may seem trivial to you, and I could list 10 things that make early Final Fantasy inferior, but this isn't a review, or a JRPG dick competition. I guess this is a retrospective explaining why I played it so much. The music alone makes it all worthwhile. Formation and magic upgrade options, a simplistic but realistic inventory, HP and MP rankings that don't go into the thousands, which is one of the dumbest things Final Fantasy does. Sorry to compare, but there really is no comparison. At the time, Sega CD just had better hardware than SNES, and so animated sequences, CD audio, CD graphics effects overlays, voice acting, it literally killed Final Fantasy, and they didn't make a third one. That's how good it was. There are some complaints. The first half of the game is pretty damn hard. Despite little bits of crunching, you'll have to tweak your formation and inventory here and there. That's not really a complaint due to the satisfaction of figuring out the proper strategy. And the dungeons get a little tedious, but again, that's just part of JRPGs in general. If you don't like dungeons and mazes, stick to Call of Duty. In the English version of Lunar 2, you have to use some of your magic XP to save your game. People are often mystified by this, but I'm a genius, so I can tell you why that is. It's to cap your magic XP and to keep you playing without saving. In the end, it's not a lot of XP and not worth complaining about, so I have no complaints. But I wanted to address those slight nuisances and debunk others' complaints. The game is so superior that it's superior to its PlayStation Saturn remakes. I have no idea why they did that instead of making Lunar 3. I did beat both PlayStation games, and the PlayStation version of Silver Star Story is definitely better than Sega CD. If I'm playing turn-based strategy, my hardware requires a random number generator, which GBA doesn't have. Nuts to all you GBA Pokemon fans, all of your outcomes are predetermined at the beginning of battle. After that, no random number generation. That means that all your TBS GBA games are fake. Final Fantasy Tactics, Ogre Tactics, Fire Emblem, Shining Force, Lunar, Pokemon, I could go on. Funny, NES, SNES, PlayStation, GameCube, Sega CD, they can all create random numbers in isolated events, but Game Boy Advance can't. Pure garbage for true turn-based strategy junkies. Don't believe me? Well, you're biased, and you have a shelf full of Game Boy Advance cartridges that have to be good. Poor Nintendo never imagined someone using an emulator, saving state, reloading the same action only to see the same result. This is why GBA is fake, especially the Sesame Street Pokemon games. Not only that, but I got to the 4th boss in Lunar for GBA so fast because they cut out so much. Do yourself a favor and just play Silver Star Story on PlayStation and Eternal Blue on Sega CD. I only play Eternal Blue and only on Sega CD. I have no idea why certain changes were made from Sega CD to PlayStation. One of them in particular is devastating in both Lunar PlayStation games. You run out of enemies to fight, and not every location has respawning enemies, so you have to backtrack to crunch. That's one place where Working Designs must have been trying to compete with other PlayStation titles because that's one of the biggest differences. My biggest complaint about Lunar 2 PlayStation was the spells. Severely nerfed and not as customizable. The designers thought they were being giving and interesting with interchangeable elemental magic combination equipables, but you already have a dedicated elemental magic user. Lamina and her elemental magic smokes everyone's. In the Sega CD version, you can customize these magic levels. I don't even raise the wind magic, and I only upgrade fire to a certain point because halfway through the game everything is immune to fire. I've found Lamina's ice magic to be the consistent damager, though you will need fire magic here and there. You know, I haven't really talked about the amazing characters which the Lunar franchise excels at pumping out. Let's see, there's What's His Name, Skank, Idiot, Bitch on Wheels, Petard, Furry Fetish, and Schmuck. Just kidding, these are all really memorable characters. Seriously, you will not forget this game. I recorded hours of footage for a tiny conversation, but that's because it's my last time. I must have beaten the game 20 times, that's how addictive it was. Neverwinter Nights, Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Front Mission 1 and 3, I wore them all out. Each one beaten over and over, and all of them variations on a turn-based strategy theme. Hugs and kisses for Lunar 2 Sega CD fans, but no one else. JK. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. One of the things about this story that makes it so great is its reliance on humanity. Despite there being magic on an alien world, Lucia has come to Lunar to destroy Zophar, but destroying him will destroy the planet. Lucia hesitates due to her love for the main character hero, and thus the human element conquers, just like real life. It's not invisible deities and magic, it's the heroics and accomplishments of humanity. We provide for our tables, and we save lives with science, bravery, and technology. In fact, I'll go ahead and play up to Althena's message to Lucia in the game, and you tell me in the comments if you can't feel the heart and soul that went into this. After this scene, you have to give this game a look. Pay close attention to the music. I won't say another word.
Welcome at last, Lucia. I have much knowledge to impart to you. This is merely a recording. Where is Althena? What's going on? My name is Luna. I once ruled the Silver Star as the goddess Althena, but I laid aside my immortality to become human. No. Yes, the Althena you seek no longer exists in this world, Lucia. Long ago, Zophar, the god of destruction and darkness, came to the Blue Star. Feeding on the hatred and dark desires of the people there, his power grew exponentially. He preyed on mankind's greed for wealth and power, creating anarchy and chaos where there was once peace and love. In the end, he succeeded in laying the Blue Star to waste. But before he could destroy all of humanity, I was able to seal him away. The Blue Star was damaged terribly, So I transformed the dead world of Lunar into a thriving land of wonder and moved the surviving humans there to live in peace while the Blue Star recovered from Zophar's assault. Though I was reborn many times as a human to lead people in the ways of peace, conflict never disappeared completely from Lunar. Because of the evil festering in the hearts of a few, the very power structure that sustained me was again threatened. Most inhabitants of Lunar still looked to me for protection and sustenance throughout their lives. However, my role gradually changed from one who protects absolutely to one that needed protection by 4 heroes to safeguard the source of my power. But during my life as Luna, something extraordinary happened. I discovered true love. It was to be my final rebirth. As Luna, I learned much about love, about friendship, and about the immense power of the human spirit. I discovered that it can be strong enough to overcome almost any obstacle. In fact, I now believe that it is the only thing strong enough to actually destroy Zophar. Oh, Lucia, I know that you've come here with good friends. You wouldn't be here without them. They're the key. Think back on your journey. Think of the battles you fought. Think of the obstacles you've overcome. Think of what it took to get this far. Lucia, look to your friends. Believe in the tremendous power of the human spirit. Only then will you have a chance. Don't be afraid. You see, Zophar has made a grave miscalculation, and that miscalculation is your hope. Seize it.
At last, it's finally mine. Althena's power has made my return complete. The time has come to put my plan into action. Creation will start anew, but this time it will be the creation of my design. Worlds will rise to glory or wither to dust at my whim. And the best part is that no one can stop me.